Hi everyone, and welcome to our very first Education Demand FE Learner webinar. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. Whether you were joining us live or watching the recorded version of this webinar, you're taking the right step forward in your studies. We're going to cover how you can get the most out of the Education Demand site today. Sorry, I didn't really give Merlin some time to get onto that slide. Focusing on revising and fitting your studies into your schedule, but just introducing us first. My name is Katie. I am a customer success manager in Education Demand, so I take care of colleges and schools throughout the country. And with me today is Merlin. If you want to introduce yourself, Merlin.
Hello everyone, I'm Merlin. I'm the learning content creator on the Education Demand team, so I'm more in product, but I focus on student engagement, and I'm here as one of the webinar leads with Katie today, and really excited because this is our first FE one, isn't it? So new territory.
New territory for us. So you'll have to bear with us while we get used to everything. So you may be here for resits or functional skills, like it could be one or the other. You would have had your own assessments that you have taken on your learner login, so on the site. Now, you might have not done this yet, so don't worry, but if you haven't done it yet, we do advise that you do it as soon as possible, because it is a great way to start. Because based on the results of that assessment, you get your own tailored learning plan, which is really nice, and helps you fit this into like your schedule and gives you a place to start. Because it's a great step in identifying your strengths and your areas to focus on, which I think is sometimes the hardest thing when approaching, studying for an exam. That can have a lot riding on the back of it, is kind of looking at everything and thinking, where do I start? So these assessments are just a really great way to show you where to start and where to focus your attention. But if you're unsure on where to find your assessments, they should come up on the home page when you first log in, which I'm going to show you now in a second. Here we've got the home screen, which is where you can see kind of the assessments that you're wanting to take. So it's really easy to see where to begin. So you'll see on the left hand side I've got an assessment here that says continue. Now if you started your assessment and you need to go back to it, it will give you the option to continue here. You've also got the Resit English language there as well, so you can go to your learning plan and view your results. So if I go to my learning plan here, it gives me just a breakdown of all the topics that I can take a look at. And then also if I go to the view results, it gives me a breakdown of the results as well. So just over time, because you can retake these assessments. But I just wanted to show you where you can see them. They're really big, and we do advise that you do complete these as soon as possible, just to get your learning plans. But now you have your learning plan and know where you need to focus, how do you begin? There's some fantastic resources on the site to help you independently learn and track your process. And I think Merlin's going to take us through some of the basics of the site, so you can take it away.
So first of all, we're going to go over the basics of what we've got on the site. So Katie's very briefly gone over the fact that we've got lessons that are set up step by step. We're going to go through our pods, what our pods are, our videos. We're going to go through accessibility, and we're going to go through watching them offline. Okay, so I'm just going to get myself on the homepage now. So when your assessments are complete, you've got a button on the site which takes you directly to your learning plan. So you can see I've
oh God, I've stolen your thunder here. I showed that quickly. I didn't even realize, Merlin, that I'd stolen your thunder and shown the learning plan.
Don't apologise, Katie. I'm glad to give you said thunder. I'll just take you through. Yeah, so once you've done your assessments, you will get a button that says go to learning plan. Okay, so if I click on, I'm going to click on English because I prefer that to maths. When you go in, you can see that your learning plan's broken up into steps, and within these steps are lessons. Okay, so if I click on step 1, speaking, listening, communicating, and there are lessons within there, and then I click on it again, I'm taken to a list of videos that I can watch. Okay, so there may be one pod, there may be a couple in here. So our pods, they're essentially what we call the bread and butter of our site. This is this is the nitty gritty. This is what we're here for, and this contains all of our content. So if I just have one playing in the background for you, they're usually 3 to 5 minutes, but these ones are a little bit shorter just to make sure that, you know, they're a bit more concise, a bit more compact, but they are packed full of the information that you need to learn more about a topic or use to revise. So on pods as well, there are some features that you might find helpful. You can slow them right down. So if you hover over the video player and press this here, the playback rate, you can speed it up or slow it down so that it suits your learning style. So if you need to listen to it a little bit slower, you can do so. But if you want to listen to it a bit faster, I don't know who would want to do that, but you know what? If you do that, that's your
It's really
prerogative.
good
I
to slow it
personally think
down, like to do I think sometimes to take notes, isn't it? Because subtitles as well are really, really useful for taking those notes with the
definitely,
information.
definitely. And if you can't play the music, if you can't play the pod out loud,
Mm.
again, we've got the subtitles there ready for you. Um, so over to the right of the pod as well, you can see these three little dots here, and you can download those pods onto your device. So say if you've got a limited amount of data on your mobile device or on whatever you've got, your tablet, when you're at home, download them, because then you can watch them wherever you are. You can watch them
Mm.
offline, and that makes it a bit easier, I think, to slot it into your schedule. So you just press those dots, press download, and that will be downloaded onto your device there, and you can watch that wherever you are.
That'd be
But
really good
that's
for like commuting, wouldn't it? If you wanted to like download three of the pods maybe for like 15 minutes of study if you were on the bus or like if you're getting a train somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I think that would be really useful.
And a lot of our pods as well, they are written so that they don't have to be watched. They can be listened to as well, kind of like
Yeah.
podcasts. So you can play a pod, have it offline, and even have it in the car, like have it on in the car if you need to. If you're really struggling to sort of fit it into your schedule, it's easy to do. So that's the basics of the site. So we've got playback on the left there. You can turn off the sound. You can change the playback speed, put the captions on there, and there is an option to download those. Okay, so that's the basics, but I'm going to hand back over to Katie, who's going to teach us through using it to independently study. So I'll hand that over to you, Katie.
Yeah, so independently studying with education demand is made really easy with learning activities we have. So it kind of gives you a good place to guide you to how to use these pods that you have access to. And then also a tool that we have on the site called Check and Challenge, which is somewhere that you can test your knowledge and you can redo this again and again. So we're going to show you where to find these. So I'm going to pop into, we were in English, weren't we? So I'm going to pop into English
Yeah,
and go into my learning plan that Merlin's just ran through. And I'm going to go into the first one here. Did I go into the right thing? Yes, I did. So the first topic there. So at the top of the page here, you've got something called learning activities, and these are activities that have been designed to be used alongside the pods to help cement the knowledge and use the information that you're receiving from them effectively. It's full of revision. They're full of revision techniques, so you can choose from like a wide range, and there's like 33 of them. I hate saying that number. There's
I
33
love
of
you
them.
saying that number.
Every time it comes up, I'm like, why did there have to be 33? So there's 33 of them. So you can really find one that suits you the best. So like a really, really like a revision technique that's gonna suit you throughout this year to really help you with revising. And you know what? With using these learning activities alongside the pods, you can really you know, build up resources for yourself. So when it comes to taking your exam the day before or like maybe the week before, you've got those resources that you've used to revise in the past to go over again basically just before the exam. So it's really useful to build up resources. We'll
Yeah,
take one for example. So I'm just going to pop into pod to poster. So you've got summarize a pod and display the information on an A4 poster, use keywords, images, label diagrams from the pod to help you remember the information. Um, so again, use these alongside the pods. It's a great way to kind of refocus yourself instead of passively watching the pods, which is okay to do. And if that's all that you can do, then still, revising. But if you do
Mm.
want to just take that extra step with your studies, these activities are a great place to start.
I would say they
Now,
help sort of level up your learning, don't they, a little bit? Like, and they're
definitely.
not only just one type of studying, because all of us will learn and take information in different kinds of ways. Some of us will
Mm.
be better at hearing it, some of us will be better at actively doing it. And these are just showcasing every single type of learner and helping us sort of engage in that content a little bit more, isn't it, really? So would
Yeah,
recommend.
definitely. 100%. And also, a good way to kind of use all of these different elements together is you could really do the offline study, have your downloaded pods, watch a couple of them, then try an activity, see how much information you have retained throughout watching, just listening to the pods, or maybe just watching them. And
Hmm.
then you could test your knowledge with check and challenge, which is what I'm going to go on to. So you can test kind of where you're at with the knowledge that you've learned.
Hmm.
So it's just all about seeing what works for you. But as you can see, there's lots of different options on the site to kind of help you, um, guide you through your revision and kind of see where you need to focus,
Hmm.
and recenter your focus as well. So the next
Definitely.
thing that we're going to take a look at is Check and Challenge. And this is an independent learning tool that we have. So it's the purple banner at the bottom of the page. It's used to test your knowledge in a topic. So when we pop in, I'm just going to go try again because I have done this before. Um, you're going to have a question with multiple answers. You have
Hmm.
an option to get a hint. You've got your questions outlined at the top as well, which is usually about 1 to 13. These are designed to be retaken. So it doesn't matter how many times you need to do it. The questions change their place in here. So like the same question one won't be the same question one again.
Hmm.
So they change all the time so that it's good for you to retake this. Um, so we'll just go through how it looks. So I'm going to just press this, and you'll see you've got feedback statements throughout. So depending on if you get the question right or if you answer it incorrectly, you get a feedback statement. And it's like having a tutor with you the entire time. So it's really, really useful. And as I said, you can track your progress over time. So if I go in here at the bottom, I've got my latest attempt, which is where I am at now. I've got
Hmm.
my view progress, and you can see that I started on 50%. I then retook the check and challenge, albeit in the same day. This is a demo login. It will look a little bit different for you. So it was taken with 50% to start with, and then 75%. You get a great breakdown at the bottom, which will just show you the questions.
Hmm.
The difficulty of the question was a hint used. You get lots of information here, and the time it took as well to complete that. So you can track your progress over time. I think that that's really important when, you're revisiting a topic maybe that you haven't looked at in quite a while, and maybe you want to gauge where you're at and see how you're finding this particular topic. You can do a check and challenge and see, okay, well, I really need to focus here. Then you can move on
Yeah.
to your pods, do some learning activities, and then revisit that and take the check and challenge again. And the
Yeah.
progress will really help gain your confidence as well. Your confidence will really shoot up to know that you are, you know, progressing in this topic, especially when you
Exactly.
can see it.
And I think that progress as well, one thing to note as well, so you can see here that Katie got 50% and then 75%. Progress doesn't always look like from the least to the most. It's going to be a little bit
No,
wibbly wobbly, but it's just really good to see that over time. And then it breaks down question by question what what you missed the mark out on, and you know what area you can focus on next time. So you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
you can't go wrong. I think what we're going to look at next is fitting your studies around your life. So obviously, we've all got quite busy schedules. You might be doing your resits or functional skills on top of working. You might have returned to studies. You might be coming, to retake this after leaving school. So there's lots of people in different situations. So fitting your studies in and making, organization a priority is really, really important. And we've
Mm,
kind of designed this site has been you know, there's really easy ways to, you know, fit this into your schedule, which Merlin's going to go through.
You're all going to be in different situations. You're going to have different amounts of time, and you're going to have to fit it around your schedule. And what we're trying to do is make this content as accessible and, you know, open and usable as possible. So I'm going to go through the ability to create playlists on our site, and then using those playlists to structure your learning. Okay. So creating the playlist, basically you're creating a structure for yourself, so it can be tailored and bespoke to exactly your needs and your timetable, and just the best way to fit around your studies. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around go back to the site. I'm going to go to the home page, and I'm going to show you how we would create a playlist. Okay, so for example, I want to create a playlist based off my areas that I need to focus on. So I'm going to go into my learning plan for maths, because I think maths would be my weaker subject as opposed to English.
Me
And
too. Me too.
so I'm going to select the first tile here. I'm going to go into each lesson and think, okay, what do I need to work on? Well, first of all, decimals. I'm going to say using decimals, and I'm going to add this to a playlist, and I'm going to create a playlist, and I'm going to call this to focus on. All caps to show how important it is. So what I can do is I can just navigate through these. Obviously, you know, we encourage you to go through these step by step, but if you've already gone through them all and you know exactly which ones you need to focus on, you can just pick and choose which videos, which pods you would like. So maybe rounding numbers to the nearest 100, add that to my focus on playlist, and I'll add one more. Third time's a charm. Let's have a look at fractions. Oh, I was never good at fractions. So,
No,
okay,
me
just looking
either.
at that title scares me, so I know that I need to add that to my focus on playlist. So, one more.
Sometimes I'm doing like demos and stuff for science. I was never good at science, and like a
Yeah,
word will come up and I can't pronounce it. And like I'll go into demo because I do demos with colleges and schools, and I'll go on to demo and I'll be like, and then I'll just go into another one to like biology or something with some like words that I can't actually pronounce. Um,
like
so yeah, that's
chlorophyll,
just
like words like that, I just like start
yeah.
sweating. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Um, so for that one, right, I made a targeted playlist there. So that was stuff that I knew that I needed to focus on, maybe stuff that I was weaker at. But you can also use the playlist function to you know, create a schedule for yourself. So I'm
Mm.
just gonna go on this toolbar on the left, and I'm gonna go down to my playlists, and I'll show you some examples of some playlists that I've already made. So say you know that you have Wednesday mornings off. So you can create a playlist called Wednesday AM. And if I click on that, I've just added a few pods there where you know, I can go to my playlist option and I can access those straight away. So once you've created a playlist, you can really easily find those videos just by clicking the play button there, go to my playlists, and all the playlists that you've created will be there in front of you. So this is a really easy way for you to structure your studies. So Wednesday AM, Wednesday PM, you can call them whatever you like. You can make them as long as you like. So for an example here, say you've got a 5-minute bus ride that you've got to go on. I've made one just called Listen on Bus. Okay, and you could call that Listen on Bus Tuesday morning, Listen on Bus Wednesday. It's completely up to you. And it's really, really useful. And also another thing that I would note as well, so say if I go to Wednesday PM, there's only one pod in there, writing to communicate in context. When you go into the playlist, your learning activities are there waiting for you. Okay,
Mm.
so you still test your knowledge all from the same area. You don't need to be going off the page, finding the learning activities, writing down what you've got to do and going back to it. It's all there in one place for you. So an idea on how to use this would be, when you're starting your study playlist, watch the pods using a learning activity alongside it. Okay, so say writing to communicate in context. I want to create maybe a pod to poster on that. So what does it mean to look at things in context? And then I can go to check and challenge and select a check and challenge on that subject. Okay, there I'm not just passively listening and taking in a pod. you're engaging fully in that content, because not only are you switching up how you take in the content and how you present it through a pod to poster, you're also testing yourself with a check and challenge. Okay, all of that is in the same place. Okay, and you can repeat that process until you feel fully confident in this particular pod, in this particular lesson, and then you can move on. So just to recap, the playlist function is here. You can create playlists either by going here and pressing create playlist there. And when you do that, you can scroll through which topics you have and what pods you want to add to it. Or you can do it directly from the pod page. So if I go back to maths, go to this one here, 3 dots, and add to playlist. And that will be on any one, and you can pick which playlist you would like to add it to or create a new one there. It's all built in there for you. So that is a really, really easy way to fit your studies around your day-to-day life, because if you know you only have 15 minutes at the end of the day or on a lunch break or something, you can create a playlist which is 15 minutes long, and you can add the stuff which you know you need to focus on that particular day. But yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. And I think
I do,
Kate's going to round off there.
yeah, no, I do love the fact that you can still access everything from the same place, because it gives you great comfort to know that when you are going into, set up your Wednesday morning or Thursday evening, whatever it is, that you're going to be able to do everything from one place.
Yeah,
So I love that,
exactly. You
Meredith.
don't
That
have
was brilliant.
15 tabs open or something. It's all in one place for you. Of
Yeah. Do you mind if you can kind of guide the site when I talk about these extra resources that we have? Because I don't think my
course I will.
user has those subjects on it, which I did not think about.
Of
So,
course, no worries at
if you
all.
can stay on there. So we do have some, just to round things off. Thank you so much for your time. Obviously, we've run through a couple of things here. We just wanted to point you towards. We do know that I sound like that kid that's like, you do, mommy, yeah, mommy.
Woo.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me gather my thoughts in order. We did want to show you some extra resources that we have on the site. We know that times like these, when you have a big exam looming, maybe there's a couple of things that are riding on the back of this exam. Um, it can be quite stressful.
Mm,
And you might not, even with all of the things that we've spoken about today, you might even think that you still don't know where to start.
mhm.
We do have some extra resource on the site to help with learning. So we've got Study Smart, and these are pods on all on the science behind learning, and it kind of goes through revision techniques, and how to apply revision techniques as well. Now, they are some old resources, so they do have some kind of school jargon and stuff in there, but they are useful, just to see revision techniques and how they work, and why they work. Another resource we have available is Keeping Fit and Healthy. Because of the stress we understand that you're under, we thought we would point you towards these resources that we have, because we find them useful. We think that
Definitely.
they're quite nice to have. Um, they're just about going through, keeping a healthy mind, keeping a healthy body, throughout stressful times, and lots of lovely mindfulness in there as well. So, thought we would share that because we quite like them.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I
they
mean,
should be on the site.
it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how, you know, uh, already quite tuned into mental health and things you might be. These just contain genuinely really helpful bits of advice on,
Mhm.
maybe how to clean up your study space, the importance and the science behind, hydration and nutrition. These might seem like simple little things, but we found them useful on our day-to-day work week. So we thought we might as well throw them your way as well, because these will be added automatically to your FE subscription. But yes, I thought that they were really good, and stress and anxiety is unfortunately commonplace a lot of the time, and we just want to make sure that we can give you a little bit of extra support, and you can use them
Mhm.
as and when, and they're there for you if you need them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we would like to say thank you for coming to our first FE learner webinar. It was a little bit chaotic because we are using a new system. I mean, if you're getting to this part of it, fair play. I hope you got some really useful tips out of this on where to start, the support that's available for you, and different revision techniques and how to use the site, just the basics, which is always really important and is sometimes forgotten. Um, so
Definitely.
I hope you took something away from this webinar. I hope you're feeling maybe a little bit more motivated to get started. Just seeing how easy it is to use. And we have put a little QR code here that you can buzz and give us your feedback if you wanted us to include something else, if you
Hmm.
thought we could have went into things a little bit more, a little bit better.
Mm.
Maybe actually speaking correctly would be the first thing. But if you do have any sort of feedback, let us know, because we really, really value that feedback, and we
Yeah,
usually pass it on.
definitely. We want to make sure that these webinars are actually useful for you, and we want to cover the content which matters to you and which you prioritize. So please feel free. Please don't berate us. I'm not asking you to berate us, but give us some feedback so the next webinar can be even better. And
Yeah,
hopefully we'll have adjusted to this new software that we're using by then, because we've had some screen share issues. So we really do appreciate you being patient with us on that. Um,
yeah.
but yes, we hope that it was useful, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.